Everyone wants to become a monster. The kind of person who walks into a room and the room shifts. The kind that doesn't need to ask for respect because their aura demands it. But most people can't even command themselves. They chase glow-ups. They journal about consistency. They download apps, write mantras, make Pinterest boards, and then they skip leg day again. Because here's the truth. Monsters aren't born in one dungeon. They're built in silence, in boredom, in repetition. Each act of discipline is a shadow summoned. And by the end of this, you'll understand why every excuse you make isn't just delaying your progress, it's killing your army before it can ever rise. Let's summon the monster. Let's be honest, you want the power-up sequence, don't ya? The cinematic glow. The anime level, he's not the same person anymore, gasps. The overnight abs. The, where have you been hiding this version of you, DMs. But here's the plot twist no one puts in their highlight reel. Transformation isn't explosive, it's repetitive, it's boring, it's discipline. We've all been there. You start strong. First 3 days of your new routine, you're untouchable. Meal prepped, woke up early, did push-ups in your underwear like a Spartan. Then week 2 hits. Suddenly, you're too tired, too busy, not feeling it. You thought you'd feel the monster arrive. But monsters don't arrive. They're assembled piece by piece under pressure. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. James Clear research on habit formation proves this. Transformation isn't about intensity, it's about identity. One small action, repeated relentlessly, becomes who you are. You don't level up by chasing motivation. You level up by stacking shadows behind you. Remember Jin-Woo's first summoned shadow? It wasn't scary. It wasn't even helpful. It was clumsy, weak, barely functional. But he kept showing up. And one by one, those shadows grew until he didn't need to fight anymore because they fought for him. He didn't start by commanding an unstoppable force. He earned it. One dungeon, one battle, one command at a time. Ever go to the gym once, then flex in the mirror? Yeah, nothing. Go 5 more times, still nothing. And most people quit here. Not because they're weak, but because they're impatient. Because they thought one dungeon run would summon the monster. But the monster isn't built in 5 days. It's built in the days that feel like they didn't count. You want cinematic transformation, but discipline is a whisper, a repeated action, a habit that looks invisible until it's undeniable. Every time you show up, you summon another shadow. Every skipped excuse is a command you gave, and that tiny, unimpressive army, one day it's gonna surround you, defend you, fight for you, but only if you keep showing up. Shrink the battlefield. Choose one goal. Ruthlessly eliminate every optional task that doesn't build toward it. Your job, summon one shadow per day in the direction that matters most. Every time you skip your habit, a soldier dies. Dramatic. Good. Because maybe that's what it takes to make this stick. You're not just taking a rest day, you're executing a future version of yourself, calling off the reinforcements before the battle even begins. That morning you hit snooze, you just sent your shadow soldier back to the void. We've all done it. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. It's just one day. It's fine. I needed the break. And maybe you did need the break. But more often, you just got ambushed by the deadliest enemy of all, comfort in disguise. And here's the killer part. You won't notice anything today. No sirens, no dramatic loss, no boss battle, just one less soldier in your army, one less habit in your foundation, and the more days you let slide, the weaker you become. A 2016 study in motivation science found that the more often you give in, the more your brain starts to associate quitting with relief and reward. In short, every excuse is a rep for the wrong muscle group, weakness. You train yourself to feel good about giving up, and over time, that becomes your default. Think back to the early dungeon in solo leveling. The underprepared hunters walked in cocky, untrained, unprepared, and when the real test came, they were erased. No reset, no retry, just blood on the floor. Why? Because they had no army behind them, no shadows, no discipline, no foundation, just ego. It's 6 a.m. Your alarm goes off. You said you were going to get up and train, but that bed feels so good. And your brain whispers, just 10 more minutes. Except, here's what really happened. You gave the command, and one of your soldiers vanished. You weakened the wall you've been building, brick by invisible brick. Now, multiply that across months. No wonder the army never showed up. Every act of discipline is creation. Every excuse is destruction. You're either building a monster or you're feeding your weakness. There's no neutral. There's no pause. You're either summoning shadows or deleting them. Your excuses are strategic assassins, and they're really good at their job. Reverse the crime scene. Every time you skip a habit, write down the excuse that killed it. Study it like forensics. Was it fear, distraction, laziness? Identify your inner assassin and outsmart it tomorrow. At some point, you stop needing reminders. You stop needing motivation. You stop needing to try. Because it's not about being disciplined anymore. It's about being you. The version of you that doesn't quit. The version of you that moves forward no matter what. Let's be honest. Right now, you probably treat discipline like a chore chart. Did I meditate today? Did I read 10 pages? Did I resist the urge to spiral into a 3-hour Reddit rabbit hole? But this mindset is flawed. Because as long as discipline is something you check off, it will always be optional. Real monsters, they don't try to be scary. They are the fear in the room. You don't see Jin-Woo checking a to-do list. He walks like someone who's already won the war. Because at some point, he stopped summoning shadows and he became one. Every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. James Clear. This is the psychology of identity-based habits. Studies show that when your actions align with your identity, the effort to maintain them drops dramatically. Instead of saying, I want to be disciplined, you say, I am someone who finishes what they start. Identity locks in the behavior. Because when something becomes who you are, you don't debate it anymore, you embody it. You're not just summoning soldiers, you're becoming their commander. And eventually, you stop summoning, you simply are the army. There comes a moment when Jin-Woo stops explaining. He doesn't threaten, doesn't justify, doesn't need to. He simply shows up, surrounded by shadows, unbothered, unshaken, unstoppable. That's not luck. That's not ego. That's what happens when you stop building habits and start becoming them. You're not adding shadows. You are the Shadow Monarch now. You ever meet someone who just is what they do? The runner who hits 5 a.m. sprints like it's brushing teeth? The writer who knocks out a chapter before breakfast like it's clockwork? They're not trying to be that person. They are that person. That's the monster form. You're not building anymore. You're embodying. Each rep, each refusal to quit, each lonely, unseen choice, they fused into something darker, stronger, unstoppable. You've become the thing that used to scare you. And the old version of you, he doesn't even recognize who you've become. Do an identity audit. Write 3 sentences that begin with, I'm the kind of person who, then prove them daily. Quest received. Objective, summon your army. Reward, become the monster. Let's stop talking. Now it's time to build. Not dream, not plan, not binge another motivational edit with epic music and zero action. Build. You don't need a 12-step system. What you don't have, consistency. That's what's missing from your evolution arc. Not talent, not inspiration, not better circumstances, just repeated action. Day after day, soldier after soldier, until the army rises. First, we form habits. Then, they form us. John Dryden. Here's the final twist. You've been building something this whole time. Every habit, every choice, every excuse, they've all been adding up. The question isn't whether you're building an army, it's what kind. An army of discipline or an army of doubt? One will protect you, the other will bury you. Choose wisely. Before Jin-Woo became the Shadow Monarch, he was just a weak, ordinary guy. He didn't level up through luck. He did push-ups. He bled in dungeons. He got back up. He kept grinding in silence. And he tracked everything, every rep, every level, every summon. That's what separates monsters from everyone else. Not power, repetition. You don't need 1,000 habits. You need a strategy. Commanders don't juggle 100 tasks. They pick the battles that matter most. Draw the map. Decide what you'll conquer next. And march. This is bigger than habits. This is about survival. Because if you don't build an army strong enough to defend your future, then your past will attack. Old doubts, old patterns, old versions of you. And they don't play fair. If you want to win, you better show up to the battlefield armed. Every day you slack, that's a soldier you didn't summon. And one day, you're going to wish they were there. Stop thinking like a foot soldier. Start thinking like a general. Your habits are no longer tasks. They're your orders. Every morning, ask yourself, what is today's mission? What battle moves the war forward? Then carry it out without hesitation. Because generals don't negotiate with themselves. They give commands, and they are obeyed. You thought monsters were born. They're not. They're built. One rep at a time. One skipped excuse at a time. One shadow summoned in silence. The world won't notice right away. But one day, they'll look at you and ask, when did you change? And you'll know. It was the day you stopped talking and started summoning.